Doug, thank you, and welcome to the Metroplex. And we welcome you to the Big 12 on ESPN on this sunny but cool Saturday in Fort Worth. It is a top 20 matchup. Number 14 Baylor, winners of 7 of their last 8, taking on 17th ranked TCU. Along with Fran Fraschilla, I'm Mark Neely. Fran, this weekend is the 1-year anniversary of that gruesome knee injury to Baylor's Jonathan Chachua, and we're showing the video. If you're a little queasy, look away here.
Yep, I was about 40 feet away in Waco. They were playing Texas, and at the time, Mark, it was devastating. And obviously, not only his teammates, the fans of Baylor, but everybody throughout the Big 12, they took it to heart. And it looked, we didn't know when he was going to ever return to the court. But if you know John, work, faith, it all came together for him.
And a week ago today, he came back 357 days after the injury, knocking down threes.
Well, he added something sitting in the chair, shooting when he couldn't stretch that knee out. And it's so good to see him. And then we're going to miss this guy today, Mike Miles, one of the best guards in the country, a favorite for Player of the Year in the league, along with probably Jalen Wilson, a couple others. And it's like not having Pat Mahomes if you're the Kansas City Chiefs. He's that important to this team. The good news is it's game to game. They expect him back any game now.
That hyperextended right knee, the injury to Mike Miles. And also, by the way, no Eddie Lampkin for TCU today. An aunt of his in Houston passed away. He is attending her funeral this afternoon. Ready to go as Gary Maxwell puts the ball in the air, and it's run down by Keontae George. Baylor in the green as the game's first possession.
You are watching the #1 offense in the country, according to Ken Palm. It is guard-oriented, a lot of pick and rolls, a lot of isolation ball, and excellent outside shooting.
George dribbles into a double team, loses the ball. Walker comes away with it, and here comes Baugh. A kick to Miller. He puts it up off the right side. Last touch by Xavier Cork, and it's Baylor ball.
And I think a key today for TCU is the play of Damian Baugh. With no Mike Miles, he's got to shoulder the load. And honestly, Mark, he's a kid that actually, I think, is going to end up in the NBA someday. Solid player. He needs a big game.
There's your starters for Baylor. L.J. Cryer, who did not play at all in the second half of their win Wednesday at home against OU due to an Achilles that was tightening up on him, back healthy and in the starting lineup.
Now, this is a team that scores off the dribble. All 3 of those guards capable of making plays.
Trying to get it to Samba, but that was deflected and stolen away by Emmanuel Miller. That was some fancy dribbling.
He's going to have to facilitate, score, and defend. Big day for him. There'll be 4-out motion and move the ball side to side. That clock gets low a lot. Capable of making plays down the stretch.
Tough shot for Damian Baugh. It's a little long and rebounded on the offside by Flagler. He outlets Bridges, trying to get it ahead of the field. He is fouled by Walker, who got back late, knocked it away, but is whistled for the personal.
Yeah, take a look now. This is the 3rd turnover by Baylor. After Bridges loses it, he pulls down. The TCU player helps him back up with sportsmanship, but an easy call. Are they going to keep it this way? Wow. Jalen Bridges got away with a foul. He did. Jamie Dixon is talking to Gary Maxwell. Early in the game, they missed that one.
Off the inbounds, L.J. Cryer knocks it down for the game's first points.
That play happened so quickly, I don't think the 6 eyes got a piece of it.
Baugh's doubled. Comes around to the left side and a Miller 3. Batted around, taken off the deck by Cryer. He outlets for Flagler. They got Bridges here on the far side.
TCU is not a good 3-point shooting team. Off the dribble, he is. Yep.
That's not going to be the only 3 I'm sure we see from Adam Flagler today.
No way. No, I'm telling you, and Scott Drew is smart about this. They don't run a lot of fancy offense. They move the ball side to side, but those 3 guards are able to play isolation basketball.
Peavy. Ball looking, punches it down low. Miller able to wiggle around Keontae George for the first basket for the Horn, for the Frogs, that is.
And Emmanuel Miller also having a very good season. He Gives you a little bit of everything. Defense, offense, rebounding, toughness.
Horned Frogs have missed their first 3 shots of the game before that bucket by Miller. Thamba, one dribble. He's in a double trying to get out of it. I think they're going to get Miller on the foul, as it was a crowd right underneath the basket there.
Yeah, you got to just stay vertical here, because Flo Thamba's not going to score over you. He's going to score through you. And right there, a good call. Miller reaches down. All he needed to do was throw those hands in the air. And I don't think Flo would have scored. Flo at the line. Take a look now. The improvement. Watch how few movements he has in his shot. Right there, it's become chest to eyes to follow through. And in the last part of the season, he's shooting 75%. This is a guy that was clearly under 50 on December 18th. Watch how simple his movements are now. The less movement in your shooting, the better. That's dramatic. That is dramatic.
Did a lot of work with Bill Peterson, one of the special assistants to head coach Scott Drew, and they have definitely turned around the free throw shooting of Flo Thamba.
Bill Peterson, former NBA assistant, one of the brightest minds you'll ever see. He's a rock on this staff.
One dribble. Court got a little push from Bridges. Still able to kiss it in.
He's a very underrated player, Xavier Cork, and they'll miss Eddie Lampkin, but Xavier can hold his own with any big man in the league. The transfer from Western Carolina, but he grew up in Sulphur Springs, about an hour east of Dallas.
One thing we didn't mention at the top, Fran, was the first meeting between these teams, January 4th at Baylor, at 88-87 TCU win. Miles, of course, had a huge 3 late in that game. That's out of bounds. Oh, let's see if they're going to change this call. And they are. They're going to give it to TCU.
Well, that's the hustle here. Both teams, they understand the importance of this game. And that's right. Good call. The ball is off the last person to touch it until the ball itself is out of bounds. And so when it hit off Bridges, it's a good call. And a good piece of officiating and teamwork, I would say.
It's a PV3.
Wow.
That is not really a huge part of his game, just his 7th made 3 of the season.
Energy in this building right now, both ways, is electric. And it's just another Saturday afternoon in the best league in the country.
Not many empty seats here at Schulmeyer Arena on this Saturday in this top 20 matchup. Columbus sets the screen. Cryer looks. Here's Bridges. 2 to shoot. Somebody's gonna have to put it up. It's Cryer. Got it! With the shot clock winding down to zeros.
That's his range. Can't let him get that. That's his range. LJ's as good as there is from behind the arc.
Cryer's hit his first 2 shots of the game for an early 5 points. Miller lost the handle. Taken back by Baugh. Peavy. Court facing up on Thamba. Lost the handle. Ball's going to bounce out of bounds. And apparently off Thamba, according to Gary Maxwell. We've had a lot of 50-50 calls here early in this game.
How much fun is this now? Baylor, TCU, ranked teams. Afternoon in the Big 12. We love it, don't we?
Absolutely. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Phillips 66, proud sponsor of Big 12 basketball. An early 3-point lead for Baylor from Fort Worth. Happy Saturday to you here in the Big 12, along with Fran Fraschilla. I'm Mark Neely. You got to be resilient in the Big 12. Here's a Baylor team that started conference play 0-3. They've now won 8 of their last 9. And I think they're kind of flying under the radar nationally, and they like it that way.
I think so. They are playing good basketball. Now they get Jonathan Chachua.
Yes.
Chachua, John, I got it. Back, and that just makes them better. They played without Flagler. They play without Cryer. And it absolutely makes you tougher and more resilient. On the other hand, what's going on at TCU right now is with no Mike Miles, the Frogs have to weather this storm. They are a Elite 8 Final Four type team. We've seen it this year. They'll get him back. Right now, they're hanging on for dear life. Shot clock, Mark, 3.7. Let's see what they draw up here.
Baugh takes it out. And And he needs a timeout. Well, Scott Drew knew, obviously, that TCU was facing a short clock there, and they kicked it up a notch.
Now, John Wachachua came in the game. Did he have anything to do with this? Let's take a look. Watch John switch. Already making his impact. How about that? Can't throw it in past everyday John.
Back in 30 seconds. Off a quick inbounds, a miss from the right side as the shot clock was winding down. So an empty possession there for TCU. And as we mentioned, you got Jonathan Wachachua in the game for Baylor.
He's going to take some minutes away from the terrific freshman Ojanwuna, but he makes this team deeper, stronger, better defensively, and he's a great screener.
Flagler. Langston Love now in for Baylor. He's coming off an outstanding game Wednesday against OU.
Baylor, the reason they're improving is they're getting healthy, but they also have two X factors that you didn't see much early in the year. Langston Love and John Wachachua. You've just added essentially two starters to this group. And Langston is really starting to play well. A year removed from an ACL injury.
He had 19 points Wednesday against OU on 7 of 9 shooting from the field. Shahade Wells, who has that starter spot with Miles out. They got Soli Doumbia in, and that pass he's unable to handle.
Baylor getting it out quickly. And again, they spread the floor. It's all off the dribble. No way. Look at this. And I said no way because I thought that was a little quick, John. But the confidence of making a couple with his first outing.
Bob trying to get his own miss. Does so. And finishes this time.
I know we'll mention Mike Miles a few more times tonight, but just keep in mind that this team is a top 10 team when they're healthy. They blew out Kansas by 23 in Lawrence. And so don't go by the 1-3 record without Miles.
Yeah, that result says it all right there. When you blow out Kansas at 23 at the Fieldhouse.
All these players will get better in the absence of Miles and Lampkin.
Miller on Flagler, trying to back him down. Wells gets by Cryer, floater, nice kiss off the backboard.
Yep. Good use of the window by the transfer from Texas Arlington.
Flagler slipped a little bit, looked like he was maybe eyeballing a three. Instead, Bridges does. It's a little long, and our baseline official, Brad Smith, calling a push and a foul on TCU. Fouls on Doumbia. Comes out of the game with Baugh.
Now watch the effort again. This is John. Everyday John is a guy that you have to account for, and Doumbia just grabs him. Doumbia playing in place of Eddie Lampkin, who's not with the team, attending a funeral of a relative down in Houston.
Another three. Warner for a moment looked like he was going to corral the rebound, but knocked away, and here come the Frogs, who've hit 5 of their last 7 from the field. That's a three, in and out.
That's a guy, O'Bannon, that has to get going. He hit the game winner in Waco, but has not shot the ball well, and they need him to put some points on the board.
Flagler fade away, good.
As an example of what we say, you know, a lot of times you tell players, hey, you're wasting your dribble. These Baylor guards use the dribble like they breathe, and they're so creative off the dribble. You let them play because they're good enough. They play like NBA guards, not that they're all going to be in the NBA, but that's how they play.
Left Wells wide open, missed the three. Rebound Keontae George.
By the way, a couple of them will be in the NBA. It's just the style we're talking about.
Here's the freshman George, stopping on a dime.
There's
now
that dribble.
Switched hands and makes the shot. Wow, remarkable from Keontae George.
That is an NBA player. And you just got a taste of it right there. But again, why? The creativity off the dribble.
I say it's Jordan-esque. I'm not saying it's Michael Jordan, but the switch of hands there late in that was an NBA play.
Trailblazer series, NBA Finals, I believe 92 maybe. Could be wrong, but remember the play.
Bannon, in and out. Lohner able to corral the rebound this time for the Bears. They'll slow it down a little bit and catch their breath.
Yeah, I like
midway
that.
through this first half.
I like what Scott Drew said. He goes, hey, we ran, that's good. Let's slow it down now.
5 points for Flagler. George's pass makes its way through to Flagler. His three in the arms of Shahade Wells. He's got Bannon with him, and George kind of gave him a shoulder shimmy there and knocked him out of bounds and fouls him. Doesn't look like anything flagrant being called at the moment.
Watch this, Mark. Take a look. This is a first-round pick. Enjoy him now, Baylor fans.
Dallin, John, thank you. We're already talking Final Four. You know, we're a month away from Selection Sunday.
Yes, we are. And this guy is going to be playing in the NCAA tournament. Keontae George, you see his numbers. Brandon Miller of Alabama having an outstanding year. Kyle Filipowski at Duke, also an outstanding freshman. And this kid, I think he's been everything as advertised and more. And not just because of his scoring. We've watched him become a great playmaker. And he tries on defense. He's a great teammate. Come a long way, Keontae George, and he's going to be a high draft pick.
Streaking to the bucket. Coles fouled from behind by Lohner.
Well, in the absence of Mike Miles in the last 4 games, Jacoby Coles is a guy who's picked up his game. 14 points a game, 53% from the field. Young man that played high school basketball at Denton Geyer. Played with guys like Jalen Wilson.
Our next ACC Big 12 Monday doubleheader coming up about 48 hours, 7 Eastern. Isaiah Wong leads number 19 Miami against Armando Bacot in North Carolina at the Dean Smith Center in Chapel Hill. And then Marcus Carr, number 5 Texas in Lubbock to take on Texas Tech. Both games on ESPN and the app. And you'll be in West Texas and Lubbock on Monday night.
Yes, I will. Chris Budden, John Shambi, and I. Texas absolutely blowing out West Virginia today. And as the season goes on, I think Rodney Terry continues to improve his chances to be the next coach at Texas. And great play right there. And who threw that ball?
Keontae.
That's what he can do. A lot better than people thought. He has great vision. Good job of talking by Thamba in that pick and roll.
TCU's going about 4 minutes now without a field goal.
On occasion, these guards will give the ball a headache because they dribble it a lot.
George lost the dribble. Lohner able to pick it up. Flagler kicks to the corner. Langston Love. 3, George. Off the front rim. Peavy gathers. He's got numbers. 3-on-1. They give it the ball back to Peavy. Well executed in transition by the Frogs.
Kept the ball moving like a shell game for that defender to not know where it was coming from. Nicely done.
Breaks the scoring drought for TCU. Gets him within 4. Love. Pounded there by Walker. Shot clock at 5.
He'll get one. He'll get a shot.
George. Down to 2, down to 1. He gets it off in time. Tipped into the arms of Coles.
TCU plays with so much energy.
Just flipping it up there. Ball after the contact. He'll shoot 2.
Let's go back and watch this break now. It's 3-on-1. You normally like to take a 3-on-1 and turn it into a 2-on-1 so the defender can't guard all 3, but in that case, the ball moves so quickly, Mark, that they were able to get an easy opportunity. Micah Peavy, the local kid from Duncanville, just one of the best defenders in the Big 12. And TCU has weathered, I think, that early storm. They're certainly capable of winning this game without Mike Miles.
Jamie Dixon Season 7. Now, this is a program that when he took over, TCU was 8-64 in Big 12 play prior to Jamie Dixon.
We used to have long talks when he was at Pittsburgh, and he'd always ask me, how's TCU? How's TCU? How they doing? What league are they going into? And he is a perfect fit to come back home, the former two-time Southwest champion.
George catch and shoot around and out. And Flo Thamba gave Cork a bit of a whack there and picks up the foul. We're under 8 minutes to play first half in Fort Worth. Now in a 2-point game. For this weekend at TCU, they are honoring the 1968 basketball team that won the Southwest Conference. All those 6 men very distinguished, but on the far right there, you're looking at Dr. James Cash, who was the first black basketball player at TCU and the first ever black basketball player in the Southwest Conference. He's gone on from his playing career to be very distinguished. He's still a teacher at the Harvard School of Business. He's a part owner of the Boston Celtics. If I had to give his whole resume, Fran, we'd be here for hours and hours. An extremely distinguished gentleman. And they have a statue of him, which they have put up here on campus within the last 4 or 5 months.
He's a barrier breaker, there's no question. How about this? Want a piece of trivia? My son, coaches at Harvard.
Yep.
And Dr. Cash, very close to Tommy Amaker. He's the first African-American to ever have a building named after him at Harvard University over at the School of Business. And we've known about him for years when you cover TCU, but he's a captain of industry. That's the way I put it. Along with a great mentor to so many young people.
Dude, I had a chance to visit with him just prior to tip-off, and special privilege to do that.
Yep.
Court loses it, scooped up by George. Third turnover by the Frogs. It's saved along the baseline by Bridges. Cryer, 3 on the way. Good.
Man, again, you talk about a quick release. Use that dribble just to create a little bit of separation. LJ about 6'1", but that separation makes him 6'7" when he shoots it.
Ball trying to get to the rim, but he found Miller streaking from the offside to lay it in. Daniel Miller's still leading the Big 12 in field goal percentage. He's been 55, 56% coming in.
Damian Ball is working just to stay in front of this guy, and he can't do it.
That almost looks just too easy. How do you stop that? I mean,
well, the guy did score over 4,000 points in high school, the 5th all-time scorer in the history of the state of Texas. So it's not like he's new to this party.
Peavy.
Great.
If they can get production for Peavy offensively, that's a big plus for TCU.
Well, this is what I said about losing Mike Miles. Everybody else has had to put their fingers in the leak in the boat. And when Mike comes back, everybody should be a little bit better at their role. It's the silver lining without one of the best players in the country.
Travel committed by George. That's the 3rd Baylor turnover.
Watch Micah Peavy use the backboard now. He goes way up on top and over the outstretched arm of Jalen Bridges. Nicely done.
Peavy averages 8 points per game in his 22 minutes per contest. He already has 7 points, 3 of 3 shooting today, including made 3. Miller's led by as many as 6. TCU has never led. A dribble now into a double team. Cook, he travels as he banged into Thamba and Bridges.
Yeah, that's not Xavier Cork's game. He's usually a dunker, an offensive rebound guy, but when he caught it in the lane, 2 green jerseys surrounded him. He's got to kick it out quickly. Too easy. Got lucky there, Martin.
Yep, they're lucky.
Because they lost LJ Cryer on the down screen. And you could say, well, it was too easy because it was an illegal screen, too.
Charge to Thamba.
I was watching LJ, and there was no white jersey around him.
You know, I know we don't keep a stat for swishes on 3-point shots, but that 3-guard tandem does a lot of that.
Yes,
they're so accurate.
You know guys who do that? Great shooter.
Yes, pinpoint.
when Steph Curry was in college at Davidson, he was a counselor at the Nike camp, and I always liked feeding him before he warmed up because the ball went right through the center of the net, and a lazy coach like me didn't like to run around after balls. So,
well, you're talking ground zero for why I think we have so many great three-point shooters down in the college games because of Steph.
You know, 15 years ago, we used to lament that American players couldn't shoot it. And Steph, Klay Thompson, KD, they've changed that.
Peavy off the heel, long rebound, tipped by Ball, goes right up and scores.
Loose ball, and Baylor thought that each of the other guys was going to come up with it. Good hustle by Damian Ball.
5 minutes to go in that first half, and the Frogs get it within one and get this crowd into the game.
Watch Flagler. These guys are so good on those baseline screens.
Did he get it off in time? It was hard to hear. Not sure if he would have counted or not. Right as the shot clock was expiring, didn't go in nonetheless. And Ball, Peavy, 9 points for Micah Peavy. A huge first half for the Metroplex native. Timeout, Bears.
Micah Peavy, he's an Energizer bunny. He's making shots today, but this is what he does. He gives you energy. These guys, when Mike Miles is back, now they're a 5 seed right now, and they could slip another line or two, according to Joey Brackets here in the next week. But when they're full speed, fully healthy, you do not want to see these guys in your NCAA tournament bracket, I guarantee you. This is a team that can get to an Elite 8 or a Final 4. As much as it hurts to not have Miles and Lampkin today, this is going to help them. And a win would certainly help them.
Flagler answers after TCU had just taken their first lead of the game.
The 3 guards make 50% of their shots off the dribble, which is unheard of. They are not catch and shoot guys. They are rhythm shooters. And I think you got to make them get inside the line.
Pull up 15-footer way long that time from Baugh. Baylor's 10 of 20 from the field, 50%. They do not have an offensive rebound yet in this game.
Which is amazing.
Yes.
As they've been in the top 10 forever.
Block.
Peavy.
And it's going to be tied up. Possession arrow to TCU. Frogs, by the way, have 3 offensive rebounds that converted on each of those putbacks, but here's that.
And usually when there's a scrum, Damian Baugh and Micah Peavy are involved. Peavy right near the play, but Damian as good a defensive guard as there is in the league. He's a playmaker. He's got good size. He's been a great counterbalance to playing with Mike Miles. That is one of the best probably one of the top 15 backcourts in the country.
Well, at 15 points in the first meeting at Baylor on January 4th with 7 assists. On traffic. Emmanuel Miller with an emphatic slam.
One thing the Big 12 does better than any league in the country is weak side cuts. When you see the kind of help defense that is played in this league, you have to cut behind the help. And there's a great example right there.
Chamba Chachua blocked from behind by Miller. Out of bounds to TCU, and he got a foul.
Watch Baugh now. He picks up his dribble, and you'll see Xavier Cork, number 2, on the 3-point line. He's going to cut behind the help side and finish. And in this league, because the ball always sees 5 defenders, you have to cut behind the ball. And a lot of teams in this league have picked up on doing it well. Kansas, TCU, great example right there. I'm sorry, that was Miller. I said Cork.
17 foul against Baylor, so a 1-and-1 here for Baugh. 20 of the 27 points for TCU have come in the paint. Misses the front end.
So Emmanuel Miller has had, I don't know if he's going to be first team all conference, but he's certainly among the top 10 or 12 players in this league.
10 of the 27 points for Baylor have come in the paint. And a lot of shooting from the perimeter. A miss by Flagler. Possible numbers here. And Wells, Cryer got a hand up. It goes out of bounds. Let's see who they're going to keep it with TCU. Our ACC Big 12 Super Tuesday doubleheader. 7 Eastern. Kyle Filipowski, Duke hosts Notre Dame from Cameron Indoor. And then Jalen Wilson, number 9 Kansas. They beat Oklahoma today. They'll take on Oklahoma State. Great night of hoops on ESPN Tuesday.
Trying to go inside to Miller. Tried to post him, couldn't do it.
Dribble drive, Wells reverses, tip, there's another offensive rebound and put back that one by Cole.
What TCU's done a couple times here recently is those guards are driving, they're driving everyday John, who probably doesn't have the quickness that he did a year ago. It's pretty good strategy. That time they were able to get to the rim and get the offensive rebound.
Now 8 second chance points for TCU, those last two coming from Jacoby Coles.
Gonna shoot it off the dribble.
Flagler airs it up. And a very rare air ball from Adam Flagler. It's out to TCU.
Well, what you got to do with those guards is you got to make them make tough two-point shots and make them finish at the rim, which they're capable of. But you cannot let them get into a rhythm behind the arc.
Baylor 5 of 15 now from beyond the arc. Flagler 2 of 5 after that last miss. Just over a minute to play first half in Fort Worth. Miller over the top, got it to Coles. Bridges stumbled a little bit. The pass went over his head.
Beautiful setup. Beautiful setup. They were looking for the high low on that whole possession, and they got it.
Been over 3 minutes since Baylor has scored. TCU's on a 6-0 run. Cryer kicks, Bridges, 3 on the way. Around and out, tipped out. Cryer has it. He's going to launch a 3. Good! And he's fouled, and a chance for a 4-point play for LJ Cryer.
Well, you got to come up with the loose ball. That ball was a 50-50 ball. Could have gone either way. Watch the long tip out right here. Anybody could get it. Cryer does. And the great follow-through concentration to take the contact and have a chance, I believe, to tie this game.
That was their first offensive rebound of the half for Baylor.
22 feet away, I might add.
Yeah. And Cryer turns that offensive rebound into a 4-point play and ties it up. Basically no different shot clock, game clock, as TCU, if they choose, can hold it for the final shot of the half.
And they should, unless they get a layup. Now, usually you'll see a ghost screen here, which means somebody will run up, act like they're screening, and then like a ghost will disappear and not actually set the screen. And they, see, Baylor sees it, so they come with a double.
Coles 3. It would count. It's wide. Coles, 9 points for him in the first half, along with Peavy's 9, and a 3-point lead for TCU at the break.
Great last-second play. They set up a ball screen, a screen for the shooter opposite of Ball's drive. And they got it done, and that takes a lot out of the steam of Baylor after that 4-point play.
Cryer led Baylor with 14 in the first half. Baylor led throughout much of that first half, but it's TCU with the lead at the break. Let's send it to the studio. Time for the report from Dallin Cuff and John Crispin. Part of the second half in Fort Worth. In this top 20 matchup, Baylor at TCU. Frogs lead it by 3. Mark Neely with Fran Fraschilla. LJ Cryer led the way in the first half with 14 for Baylor.
Well, he's a point getter, no question. Shoots it from deep. This is a big play, late in the half, 4-point play by LJ, who grew up with the ball in his hands and knows what to do with it. And on the other end, for TCU, points in the paint, attacking the rim. Micah Peavy has had a big first half. And you see the new and improved Jacoby Coles over the last part of the season has been outstanding, and that's really the tale of the game. Baylor's perimeter play, TCU's toughness inside, and right now TCU, without Mike Miles Jr., 3-point lead.
No Mike Miles, no Eddie Lampkin today as well for TCU, a team that's lost their last 2, 3 of their last 4, but are still 6-5 in Big 12 play. Baylor right now 7-4 in conference after the 0-3 start, and have won 8 of their last 9, and it's Bears ball to start the second half.
Okay, the usual now, a lot of spread, weave action, ball screen, get a shot for LJ.
Or the rebound off the heel went high in the air, and Miller jumped probably a little early for as high as that rebound went up, but he hung it long enough to come down with it and get fouled.
Oh, good hands.
Ball looking for it underneath. They can't get it to him. They throw it away.
How about Rondell Walker starting the second half? The Oklahoma State transfer.
No shot attempts in the first half. Rondell played 8 minutes of that first half.
TCU with the switches.
Flagler punches it underneath. Thamba blocked from behind.
Oh!
Another opportunity for Bridges, and here comes TCU.
How about that defensive stand?
Pass to the bucket. Miller on a great feed from Damian Baugh.
Had to be a setup. First dead ball of the second half, maybe, and that's what they come up with. Great job by Jamie Dixon.
Largest lead of the game for the Frogs of 5 points.
I think the word I'd use today so far is just grit.
George stops, 12-footer well off the right side. Bridges has it. One dribble, kick to the corner. Cryer with the shot clock winding down. That ball hits about every inch of the rim and part of the backboard and goes in.
I want to tell you, talking about grit, that was all Jalen Bridges on the offensive glass. And then the kick out to the corner and the one more to Cryer. Oh, man, what a play by Jalen Bridges. He doesn't even get an assist on that.
And now he's going to get a foul underneath. He fouled Xavier Cork.
Watch Jalen Bridges now. The last 7 or 8 games, he's been outstanding. Here's the missed shot. He's going to grab this rebound from the weak side. Watch him throw it to the corner. And then a terrific one more by Keontae George. And if you don't think this kid is not only a great scorer but unselfish, you saw it right there.
You know, that's when you should act like you're hockey in scoring, where if there's 2 passes that really set up the shot, Bridges should have got an assist.
You'd be surprised at how many coaches keep that informally with their team and sell that to their team. And they say, hey, here's a play Jalen made. He's not going to get an assist for it, but this is why he's on the court. Good answer by TCU.
Flagler bounces for Thamba, who this time will not be denied.
Smart play by Thamba right there. We talk about getting to the center of the rim on a back cut right there. We call that a weak side cut.
Peavy averages 8 points a game, had 9 in the first half. He spins into Bridges, then his pass finds Miller, but his pass deflected. Cryer, or George that is, and it's out to Baylor after George and Miller collided.
This is indicative of what we expected today. 2 teams playing with great toughness. And if you don't bring your energy every night in this league, you're going to get embarrassed. These 2 teams today have gone toe-to-toe so far. You know, Joey Lenardi, I checked at halftime. Right now, TCU is still a 5 seed. They're 18th overall, and they're going to get healthy. And this, we said it earlier, this is a team that right now is dealing with some adversity because of the injury to one of the 3 best players in the league, but they are going to be heard from in late February and March.
Texas and Kansas already both won today. But Texas right now remaining all alone atop the conference. George, somehow got to the rim. The seas parted, and there he was right at the cup.
And that wasn't easy. He's just shown so much growth and maturity. It's a heck of a play.
Wow, elevates and scores.
Nicely done to avoid the traffic. Baylor's got an advantage with ball in the backcourt.
The ball was slow getting up, but Peavy stops the play by knocking it out of bounds.
Watch this play we take him for granted sometimes. Watch Thamba screen the help. And then he's able to somehow contort his body, Keontae George. Young man from Louisville, Texas. High school All-American, one of the top 5 players in the country, and probably one of the easily top 5 freshmen.
Just 4 points for George, but they've both been very creative buckets. Bridges a missed 3, scooped up off the deck by Jacoby Coles. Miller wants to make sure Thamba doesn't surprise him from the backside. Coles, I tell you what, TCU has been outstanding with the pocket passes heading to the bucket.
Is that pretty or what? That's good basketball. My friend Brad Doherty would say, good basketball.
Cryer. Offensive foul on Flo Thamba as Chuck O'Bannon was there in time to take the charge, and that's 3 on Flo. We played 4 minutes of the second half. TCU up lead. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Phillips 66, proud sponsor of Big 12 basketball. Of people involved in his rehab.
It's taken a Baylor village. His girlfriend Lauren Harrison, a great volleyball player at Baylor back in Waco. She's been John's rock. Interestingly enough, she tore her ACL her senior year in high school. And there you see Dave Snyder, the trainer, Charlie Melton, the strength coach. A remarkable job. There's John Jacobs, the assistant coach. It's taken an incredible group of people to surround John. And the one thing John added that we knew, incredible work ethic. To see him out on the court today is really a miracle. There's no other way to say it. But I know Lauren's watching back in Waco. By the way, I did my research. Her uncle is the great Buck Williams, one of the great ACC players of all time and a perennial NBA All-Star. But it's taken a lot of people to help John get back to where he is.
It's an offensive foul on Rondell Walker as Flagler takes the charge. Second one on Rondell, he's coming out.
See right there, Flagler waiting. Rondell gets himself, that's why you play off 2 feet, Rondell. Because in this league, everybody steps in and take the charge, and if you don't come to a jump stop, it can be hazardous to your playing time.
Here's John. Chacho 0 for 3 from the field. A couple of those 3-point shots so far today in his 3rd game back.
TCU switches, so those big guys are out on the floor guarding the smalls. Pretty good job so far. Nice.
Into the corner, Flagler. Cryer penetrates, 14-footer, good.
Money. He is money today. He makes 50% of those mid-range pull-ups, so when you talk about analytics, you kind of throw him out the window with him because he's getting you a point per possession, which is winning basketball. Pretty good. Guys like KD and Chris Paul, all unstoppable in the mid-range.
Coles. Chalma Chacho may have been just quick enough to offer enough resistance to adjust that shot from Coles.
There's that cut again. Mark, anytime you drive baseline, your teammate should make that cut from the weak side. It's usually the wing. We call it a 45-degree cut because it's a 45-degree angle from the basket to where the wing is. But when that ball goes baseline against great help teams, those weak side cuts are lethal.
You did your geometry homework as well.
I wasn't very good at that, but if it has to do with the basketball court, I'll get an A.
Scooped up. Gonna take it himself. Shahade.
I want to tell you, you're watching at home, the intensity level out here is just awesome if you love the game.
It has been a high-level game, and as I say that, Baylor throws it away, but nonetheless.
Because it's good defense, right?
Yes.
Ade Wells right here. Take a look. Backup point guard. Starting to get his groove, especially without Miles. Young man from Amarillo, Texas. Starred at Arlington, just 15, 20 minutes away, and good role player.
And if you're just joining us, no Mike Miles today for TCU. Ford came out with a hyperextended knee, and once again they find the open man. That time Coles.
I'm going to tell you what TCU's doing by design. Anytime Baylor switches and everyday John is on a guard, they are driving him. And they've had success with that. He's got to cushion him a little.
Bridges, a spin move into the lane, and finishes it there.
Tough move by the kid from Fairmont, West Virginia, the WVU transfer. Boy, early in the year when we watched him, he couldn't hit the side of a barn, right? And lately he's done a lot of great things for the hustle, threes.
O'Bannon short off the front rim, a Coles offensive rebound, and there's O'Bannon able to finish. And offensive rebounding for TCU, and the putbacks have been a big story in this game for the Frogs.
This guy, Jacoby Coles, man, he's an underrated part of this lead. 15 pounds lighter. He can thank strength coach Gary Christopher for that.
Love trying to split two defenders. Coles stayed strong. The missed shot rebounded by O'Bannon.
Oh, he had him.
Yeah, the pass really should have gone to Miller. Reset it up.
Good poise by Damian Ball.
Wells.
Whoa.
Airmails that one over Ball.
Right idea. He drove everyday John again. Was able to get by him, but take a look now. Jacoby Coles with a great look, and TCU excellent moving without the ball today.
Each team now with 8 turnovers. You see the assist though. TCU 12 assists. 20 made baskets. That one's short from Jonathan Chama-Chachua.
Remember, this TCU team, the best fast break team in the country, so they're going to keep pushing it.
Prior defending Coles, this is Wells with 8 to shoot.
Got him.
Oh, and that time Bridges read it and picks it off.
Damian was a split second late because Coles was open. Good job by Bridges.
Bridges again penetrates, spins, and it knocked away but fouled by Chuck O'Bannon. 11.5 minutes to go in Fort Worth. TCU, the Frogs, up by 6.
Millions of small business owners choose Spectrum.
Yeah. Well, the training staff, really for both these teams, has been tremendous. This is a guy who looked like he could be playing linebacker in the Super Bowl tomorrow, Gary Christopher. The associate director coach, head coach for human performance. That's a lot to put on a business card. He's a big man.
He is a big man. He's had a big impact on his team. Last summer, he took those guys. Now, it's about 105 in Dallas, okay, every summer. He took these guys to the football indoor facility, and all they did was run sprints to get in shape. They are the best fast break team in the country. You've seen what he's done with Jacoby Coles. Eddie Lampkin has gotten himself in shape. Mike Miles came to TCU. He will tell you that he could have played the Pillsbury Doughboy, okay, before he got here. But this guy, GC, has been at Vanderbilt with pros, Pittsburgh with pros. We have a family friend, Luke Cornett, former Vandy star, now playing with the Boston Celtics, and he said, I would not be in the NBA without Gary Christopher. So these guys behind the scenes, Charlie Melton at one end, Gary Christopher at the other, they're more popular than the coaches because the coaches are always yelling at you. The strength coach is getting you to be better at your own game, so you like them better. You ever notice that?
That makes good sense, human behavior. There's a tough shot from Peavy. He tried to flip it, went right over the rim. You hear Jamie Dixon yelling 2 feet there. Shot by Peavy. 11 minutes to go in a 4-point game.
Good defense by TCU today. Done a great job of switching, and those bigs have done a reasonably good job of guarding this guy.
Flagler off the right side. All alone, Shahade Wells.
Got to be something here.
And he is fouled shooting the 3-point shot.
Yeah, and on that drive, there's got to be something. There's too much contact. It's either a block or a charge. He's set. Come on now.
Bodies go crashing like bowling pins.
Yeah, you could have called 2 fouls on that play. Otherwise, fairly well done today by this crew. Hardest league in the country to officiate. Jay Wright and I were talking this week. He covered Kansas, Oklahoma today. We were talking about the Big East, where he spent a lot of time in, Big 12. And we both agreed, in order to be good in this league offensively, you've got to be a strong, tough player. You have to be able to play through contact.
Yeah, I've heard it said you not only have to be strong physically, defensively in the Big 12, but you have to be strong offensively, physically in this conference.
Think of Jalen Wilson every night, right? Think of Keontae Johnson. Think of Marcus Carr attacking the paint. Absolutely.
Thomas coming back with 3 fouls. As TCU has just opened up their largest lead of the game of 7 points. Baylor had a 6-point lead during the first half. That was their largest lead. Peavy. Oh, and George able to come back and bat it away before he could get it up to the rim.
Great play by George, but watch Peavy sneak his hand in here. And we talked about how good a defensive player he is, and a terrific hustle play. And these two guys go back a ways, and that could have been a foul called easily. You saw Peavy's arm go back. But this defense by TCU, as tough and gritty as you would expect from a Dixon team.
Cork got it over the hand of Thamba. Rebound Peavy. Couple of bounces back to ball. Blind pass and flush by Xavier Cork. Timeout, Baylor.
Grit, toughness, determination. Grit, toughness, determination. TCU basketball today.
In the second half, number 14 Baylor. They've won 8 of their last 9 games. Getting a huge battle on the road in Fort Worth. 17th ranked TCU playing without Mike Miles, playing without Eddie Lampkin, but getting production from these individuals today.
Yeah, they've been solid. Jacoby Coles not only gives you 11 points, but he also has been a great distributor. Damian Ball, he's had to guard some really good players tonight, also run the team, also score. And Micah Peavy, what can you say? Energizer Bunny Deluxe. Great defense tonight.
TCU shooting 55% from the field because 86% of their points have come in the paint. 38 of their 44 in the painted area. Flagler scores.
So good. He's so good in there. Good defense by TCU.
Flagler down in double digits with 10. Wells, Lona right there. Wells trying to get past the bigger player. Found Cork in an and-one opportunity.
What have we said when the ball goes baseline? The defense turns to watch the ball. Watch Hade Wells now. He finds Cork right at the rim because Flagler did not rotate over. Again, excellent recognition today by TCU on the offensive end when they take that ball to the baseline.
Court finishes off the three-point play, and here's TCU with a 10-point lead, their largest of the game with 9 minutes to go.
And they're without their Patrick Mahomes and Mike Miles Jr.
And in some ways, without their Travis Kelce and Eddie Lampkin. Seven to shoot. Cryer trying to split the defenders. Does. Lays it in.
Great move. Great use of the backboard right there. When you drive at full speed, the backboard deadens your shot. And that's exactly what happened right there for L.J. Cryer, who knows a little bit about scoring.
21 points for Cryer, 14 of those in the first half. Peavy, bounce pass. Court cut off by Thamba.
Good ball movement.
Miller.
There's another cut.
Hard contact. Thamba says, yep, I got him. And that's going to put Rondell Walker at the line. And that's 4 on Flo.
And there's the cut by Walker. Great job. And Flo comes over. He tries to be vertical, but he runs into the offensive player who's already in the air. But good effort right there by Rondell Walker.
You may be thinking, some may be watching, wow, boy, that was a hard hit, but that was just 250 pounds hitting 180.
That's all.
In the air. That's what it was.
That's all it was. We'll see a lot of that tomorrow night, right?
Yes, we will.
Hey, by the way, Walker, Coles, and Mike Miles Jr. all played for the Texas Titans, the terrific AAU team in Dallas, so their relationship goes back a long way. Got to make those. He missed both. That's an invisible turnover right there.
George uses the dribble now, pulls up from the baseline, too strong, batted out there by Baugh, and here comes Rondell Walker. He'll slow it down. Baugh to the baseline, miss Coles.
Yep. Court just babied it up there.
Yep, missed by Court. It stays at 8-point game.
TCU doing a lot of switching, so those bigs are playing guards.
Flagler. Loose ball on the baseline, and great effort by Rondell Walker, but apparently stepped over the baseline in the process of trying to save that one. Now we're under 7.5 minutes to go in a 56-48 game. It's a great basketball game. A couple of high-level opponents. Look forward to Oklahoma State, Iowa State after us. Here's the conference. Texas staying atop with a win over West Virginia. Kansas won earlier today. You got K-State at Texas Tech, 6 Eastern on ESPN Plus, Big 12 now as well.
I think John Crispin would love playing in this game.
Oh, yeah.
Tough South Jersey guy. I'll tell you what, he plays a lot like these Baylor guards. Great hustle.
Wow, Bridges high off the backboard.
Jalen Bridges is exactly what Scott Drew wanted when he transferred here. He's a great complimentary player who plays with terrific energy.
A Peavy race to the rim, deflected out, run down by Cryer. Well, Cryer was coming in the vicinity where Chance Moore, the official, and Jamie Dixon were.
Jamie Dixon was more of a scorer than a defender, but
yeah,
he looked like he was ready to take a charge. They honored the 68 team today, and Jamie Dixon part of 2 Southwest Conference championships back-to-back, 86-87.
And for head coach Jim Killingsworth, back in the days of the Southwestern Conference, Love threw it right to Wells. He thought he was going to get it to Chamba Chachua.
Now, interestingly, let's see if they drive John again.
All right, now official Chance Moore has stopped play.
They may be looking to see if there was a change of possession.
Didn't reset the shot clock, I don't think.
So what they're saying is there was a change of possession. It goes to 22 because they're saying that Baylor had it with a fresh 30.
So it should have been set to 30 and not 20.
That's right.
Good catch there by
Chance Moore.
Chance Moore. Yep.
See, they're going to drive John if they can.
Peavy, a 3, well short. He hit one early in the game, going after his own rebound. It deflects to Bridges. Baylor was down by 10. And now with that one kissed in by Flagler, that deficit has gone from 10 down to 4.
We've said this 10,000 times. Nobody uses the backboard like Baylor guards.
3 minutes since TCU has scored.
You know, the reason I mention that so much is not a lot of teams in America use the backboard.
The travel is charged to Peavy. That's 11 turnovers for TCU. Hey, take a look at our NBA Saturday primetime matchup, ABC and the app. The NBA's all-time leading scorer now, LeBron James, leads the Lakers against Klay Thompson of the Warriors at the Chase Center. Coverage begins with NBA Countdown at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific.
Does anybody make more moves than the Lakers? I mean, they keep kind of figuring out how to,
put that NBA trade deadline.
It's always crazy. Kyrie Irving off to a great start here in Dallas. So far, so good. Hope that lasts. Love to see him happy.
Langston Love. Pryor an open three, around and out. Tipped around. Bridges missed the putback. Volleyballed around, hands all over. Miller had it, deflected. Love gets it back. A steal and a Flagler three. Out of all that, now TCU needs a timeout as it's a one-point game.
If Baylor wins this game, this is the play of the game, and it's set up by Jalen Bridges. He kept that ball alive. Wow.
We need to look at that last sequence again, but focus on number 11 in green, Jalen Bridges.
This is as good a hustle play as you will ever see all season. Let's see if we can watch this. Watch the shot go up now. Here comes Bridges. This starts it. There's one. There's two. There's a third one. He misses. Watch this. He's not done yet. Here comes Bridges. There's a fourth deflection. How good is that?
Now they pressure in the backcourt, but they get it ahead to Coles, who kisses it in.
Big answer. Big answer. We in a zone here? Nope.
The last bucket into the 9-0 run for Baylor. A Flagler three, good!
Been there, done that. Especially in the national championship game 2 years ago.
His fourth made three of the game, 18 points for Flagler, and we're tied at 58 with under 4.5 to go. TCU had a 10-point lead at 56-46.
Right now, TCU does not have a go-to scorer out there. This is where they miss Mike Miles. Who's going to be the guy to take it over?
Three, big rainbow, not there for Damian Baugh. Mike Miles, his fourth game missed. The hyperextended right knee. Three, Flagler is feeling it. And Big Mo, momentum right now wearing green.
That's good coaching by Scott Drew. Give your best player the ball and get the heck out of the way.
15-2 run in the last 5.5 plus minutes. Now TCU needing a bucket. Coles doubled. Miller. That play has been there all day, and they have executed it to perfection again.
Adam Flagler. Maybe an All-American. How about that one?
And it Coles. Find it, Miller. What a game in Fort Worth.
I got it. I got it. Dallin, you were that pass first, set up everybody, I think. But John Crispin, man, you guys would love being in this game. I'm telling you, both of you guys. So much fun watching these guards play.
Flagler and Pryor each with 21 points.
And you know what? Every night it's somebody different among those three, because we've seen Keontae George pull the chestnuts out of the fire a few times for Scott Drew this season.
That works even though it's not the holidays.
Exactly.
That was an attempt to tie the game out of the timeout, but in and out. So Baylor with the ball up 1.
Damian Ball, a terrific defender on Flagler, got his work cut out. But TCU still switching sometimes into a mismatch. Not always.
Screen sent by Chama Chatra. He rolls, gets the ball, and then trying to get it for Bridges. Elevated it, and Bridges was still on the ground. Threw it over his head.
Those two guys haven't played much together. When John told Jalen I was lobbing it to you. Good pressure on the trap. Now keep in mind, if there's any pick and roll action, if TCU looked like they trapped on purpose right there, forcing John to handle it.
Ball rolls all the way into the front court before it's picked up and the clock starts.
Let's see. Oh, they're going inside the mismatch. Yep.
Love reached to try to get a piece of that, but couldn't, and then it was an easy land.
So much switching going on that you got to be able to pick apart a mismatch, and they did it right there.
46 of their 62 points in the paint, and a foul. Flagler got him on the elbow, and the three-point shot to Jacoby Coles.
He knows it too. Look at him. He knows it. And it's just so hard to not put your hand in the cookie jar. But he got caught. Brett Smith, good angle. And let's face it, when Adam Flagler shoots it, you think it's going in, so you get your hand up, and a little too much right there.
It's his first trip to the line, though, today. This is a guy who's a great free throw shooter, 84% on the year.
Think of his career. He did not have a Division I scholarship offer until Presbyterian came calling. He played for the Blue Hose for a year, sat out, practiced against Mitchell, Teague, and Butler. Played in the national championship game off the bench. And a young man from Duluth, Georgia, clearly one of the best guards in America, and I think a first-team All-American if you go by backcourt, small, positionally.
Guy who was the 2019 Big South Freshman of the Year for Presbyterian, knocking on the door being a first-team All-American.
He had a game as a freshman where he dropped 29 at UCLA against Steve Alford's team.
That was November 19th, 2018.
How about that? You're good. You're good. You didn't even know I was going to say that, did you?
Not at all. Possession here. Under 2.5 minutes to go. O'Bannon. They thought he got fouled.
And he did. Oh, they got fouled underneath on the rebound.
Jamie Dixon was wanting the foul on the shot from O'Bannon. You and I had a good look at that. There certainly seemed to be some contact there.
Let's watch now. Turnabout is fair play. That could have been called a foul. That player is defenseless until both feet hit the ground. And even if both feet hit the ground, then you have a common foul. Jamie Dixon disagrees with Gary Maxwell. I agree with Jamie Dixon there. Protect that guy when he's in the air.
1-and-1, and Coles misses the front end after the 7th Baylor team foul of the second half.
Two big misses, and don't forget Rondell Walker's two earlier. There's a switch. Let's see what he does with the switch.
Pull up, Flagler banks it in.
Great recognition. Great coaching both ways. You adjust to the adjustment. And that's what Adam Flagler saw right there when Cole switched onto him.
Now a crucial possession here for TCU in a two-possession game. That's a three. Wells. Oh, Peavy blocked by Love.
I'm not sure Micah should have gone up with it. He was off balance. And right now, he's hobbled and guarding Flagler.
Coles picks up Flagler, 7 to shoot. He's going to launch a three. Well off the left side, batted around. And it's Bridges deflected to Cryer, and all alone, Love lays it in. The shot clock was expiring. They apparently didn't reset it, that the shot did not hit the rim initially. And a quick shot from TCU and a rebound by Baylor. And now, just 46 seconds left. Baylor ball up 6, 2-possession game.
Watch, I'm going to tell you something. In the film room tonight, tomorrow when they reconvene, see that little just deflected Jalen Bridges making something happen. Jalen Bridges, talk about Flagler and Cryer, Everyday John back in the lineup. Jalen Bridges has been the unsung hero today for this Baylor team. He has made winning play after winning play that will not show up in the box score, but his teammates and his coaches will appreciate it tomorrow.
Yeah, you said it. It won't appear in the box score, but a great day for Bridges. Now the 2023 Phillips 66 Big 12 Men's Basketball Championship coming up soon, March 8th through the 11th at the T-Mobile Center in Kansas City. If you haven't got your tickets, you can do so going online at Big12Sports.com.
You and I both know, as they review something at the monitor, you and I both know that there is nothing like the Big 12 tournament right now. The Big East tournament is right there with it because of Madison Square Garden. I lived it. But the Big 12 tournament, the Power and Light District, especially this year, Mark, it is, if you're a basketball fan and if you can get tickets, you just need to be there because there's no harder playing conference in America. 5 of these coaches have been to a Final Four. We got a couple guys who are going to end up in the Final Four someday as coaches. But the effort level, the defense, the grit in this league, second to none. Proof's in the pudding.
So they were taking a look at that last play when the ball was knocked out of bounds. First off, checking possession to make sure it is Baylor ball, and secondly, to make sure they got the clock correct. So 47.6 seconds left. It is Baylor ball. 26 for Flagler, 21 for Cryer to lead Baylor.
Watch the home run here. Nobody's protecting. There's no free safety. Can somebody get deep? Somebody may go deep here.
Ball kicked. Staying with Baylor.
That's right. Flagler cannot run. Now they're still, I don't know how much time on the 10-second clock, but it's a kickball, so it's a reset. They got to get it to 13.
Cryer looking to get it in, and a timeout Baylor. They use their final one with 45.5 seconds to go.
On the last play, it's a kick ball. They get a new 10-2. Yeah. Right? I didn't know if you knew that. Okay? Now, I ain't mad at you.
So we get an explanation there. 6-point lead with 45.5 seconds to go. We mentioned the leading scorers for Baylor. Flagler 26, Cryer 21 for TCU. 3 in double figures are led by Jacoby Coles, who has 15. Damian Baugh and Miller each have 10. But Flagler has hit 5 threes in this game. He's gone 5 of 10, but also a lot of driving buckets off the backboard. A great play there by Bridges. Then at that 3 for Flagler. Season high 26 points with those 5 threes today. I'm glad you let me take the replays every once in a while. Thank you.
Okay, no, I get tired of hearing myself talk. Seriously. I feel like I'm in a film room with my team again. I don't need to do that. Absolute pleasure working with you today, Mark.
Always a blast.
And this is just so much fun. Adam Flagler, what could you say? I got to tell you now, this is a tough one for TCU if they can't make this deficit up. We got a lot of basketball left. What an effort by TCU.
Led by as many as 10 in the second half. And then Bannon trying to get a steal here or a tie-up. And Gary Maxwell's going to call a grab on Chuck O'Bannon.
And I think he reached in. Take a look now. They're trying to get the ball. I think there's enough contact there that you got to call that. But I want to tell you, Mike Miles, when he comes back and adds to this group, and I know they may drop in the polls, you do not want to see this team in your NCAA tournament bracket.
Jason Love in the backcourt, and then he gets fouled. There's Mike Miles.
He's one of the best players in the country. Let's put it in perspective. He had 33 against this great group of Baylor guards in that 88-87 win in Waco a few weeks ago. Really unguardable. But, you know, in talking to the coaching staff, they're looking at the big picture. And you don't want this young man in and out of the lineup when he can be completely healthy soon. And it's no different than losing a Jalen Hurts, a Mahomes, a Sam Duggan, you know, a Bryce Young at quarterback. He is the equivalent of an All-American quarterback for TCU.
In and out, he misses the front end, Love. That's big for TCU, trying to cut this deficit quickly to the rim, and a three-point opportunity.
Here we go.
Damian Ball can make this a one-possession game.
Right down I-35. Unimpeded. Take a look, and then to reach in right there. He's got a chance to make it, as you said, a one-possession game. Clock is stopped. You can set up your press on the make. And the jump ball arrow is TCU. Keep that in mind.
Both teams in the bonus. Ball looks to complete the three-point play. Can't do it. They get their own miss. Wells.
Still don't need a three.
That's a long two. Swish by Damian Ball. Timeout TCU. And off the missed free throw, they converted. It's a two-point game.
And I think you should review this. I think it was a two, but because there's a timeout, Brett Smith will review this to make sure that he is behind the arc or not. I couldn't tell. Let's take a look. It looks like he's got the feet on the line, but easy call right here. Step back. And this will be quick. They've cut it to two, not one.
They did take a quick look. It's a two-point shot.
And now you're going to set up your press.
Hey, don't forget Monday, our next ACC Big 12 doubleheader, 7 Eastern. Isaiah Wong leads number 19 Miami against Armando Bacon in North Carolina from the Dean Dome in Chapel Hill. And then Marcus Card, number 5 Texas in Lubbock to take on Texas Tech. Both games on ESPN and the app. Lubbock is your next destination for that game in about 48 hours.
Now, one thing about Baylor now, great free throw shooting team, especially the guys who will likely be fouled. If you're TCU, you set your press up. You have plenty of time to set at least one, maybe two traps before you feel that you have to foul. Remember that if they can get a good tie-up, they don't have to commit a foul. They should go for a jump ball here before they foul on purpose. Scott Drew is likely to put out 5 players who all shoot over 75% from the free throw line. Also keep in mind, Mark, that it's a 1-and-1 on a foul and not 2. Now, Tchamwa Tchatchoua is out there as well. And he's a career 74% foul shooter. He does not have a free throw this season.
Which makes me think if you're TCU, that's the guy you would like to target, but Baylor has him all the way at the other end of the court for that very reason.
You could be a coach. I think you could coach.
Cryer to take it out.
And he can run the baseline.
Bannon Thought he had a steal, as did this crowd, but a foul. Going to put Cryer at the line. Number 3 on Chuck O'Bannon.
Chuck had a good opportunity here. That is close. Oh, man.
That looks like ball first to me.
It does. It really does. Yeah. So hard because the official is anticipating a foul. But remember what I said. We used to teach our guy, hey, we're fouling anyway. Go for the ball.
It's a 1-and-1. Cryer today, 1 of 1 from the line.
He's not missing these.
He made it. It gave Baylor fans some heart palpitations there. He didn't swish it. He got it in, though.
Now, 19 seconds. Baylor's not going to foul yet. If you're TCU, take it to the basket unless you can get a wide-open 3. Do not force a 3 here. Take the easy 2.
He swishes the second and makes it a 2-possession game.
Baylor,
19 seconds left.
Yeah, they don't want to foul, so give something for Ball to drive it. But don't waste too much time.
Ball gets around JTT and lays it in. And TCU is going to use their final timeout, 2-point game with just under 11 seconds to go.
Good use of the clock right there. Let's go back and watch now. Ball knows he's not going to get fouled. He just needs an alley to get to the rim. He surveys. He takes the easy way out. Now, keep in mind, same situation. You're going to set up your press, and you can still trap it once. And again, go for the ball. Don't foul indiscriminately. Jump ball goes to TCU.
Playing without Mike Miles today. Playing without Eddie Lampkin. TCU led by as many as 10 in this second half. They were up 56-46 when Baylor rolled off a big run, reclaimed the lead. Here they are up 2. 10.7 seconds.
What an effort by the Horned Frogs today. Without Miles, without Lampkin. Give Baylor credit going on the road. This place has been electric today and all season. This is a game that epitomizes the Big 12. Remember, he can run the baseline. And you got 5 out of bounds to football play. Dave Aranda would like this one. Watch somebody breaking deep.
Into Flagler.
They can review it.
We're going to take a look.
They cannot review if a foul was called, but they can review the inbounds, out of bounds. Oh boy.
I think that's off Flagler looking at that right there, but we'll see if a different angle.
Yeah, it's a tough angle for us. They got the DV monitor.
Okay, again, the call is Baylor ball.
So
is there enough to overturn that?
Right, exactly.
Now yeah, I think there is. Are you seeing what I'm seeing?
Well, remember, the one angle that we don't see is, does it go off Wells? We can't see because of our camera angles.
They're asking us if we have a different look. So what we're showing Gary Maxwell now, this is the best view we have.
What we can't see is the angle for if it goes off white, 13.
Right. We're going to run it again here for the crew.
They want a last angle, guys, and rewind it slowly. I know I hate to do this to our audience, but we're watching at home with the fans. And the tricky part for us is, does it go off 13 white?
So what you've just seen is the only angle that Gary Maxwell and his crew have to work with there.
I'm going to tell you what I think. They may not be able to overturn this.
I think it probably should be TCU ball, but from what you just said, it's not 100% sure. It didn't graze because of that angle off Shahade Wells.
Exactly. The ball is lost by the Baylor player, and from the angle you have behind the play, it could go either way, right? It could be off Flagler, but we couldn't tell whether it grazed Shahade Wells. And this is going to be a tough call either way. It's going to be tougher for TCU. In a normal situation, you can't overturn it without indisputable evidence. That's the problem. And they're in a conundrum right here, these officials.
And right now, there's about a full house here at Scholmeyer Arena awaiting the verdict on this.
You know what I would do? You know what we would do at the schoolyard in Brooklyn? We would give it to TCU because that play by Chuck O'Bannon might not have been a foul.
Right.
We just split the difference. Come on, Solomon. Where's Solomon when you need him?
All right. And they're going to give it to TCU. Well, I guess they went to some old Brooklyn schoolyard basketball.
I like it.
Because it's TCU ball.
You know what I used to do when they used to say, I was standing on the side, hey, who'd it go off? I never said anything. I don't want to be the guy involved. These three officials had a tough call. I like it. I think it's fair. All right, 8.1. Take us home, Mark.
O'Bannon is going to trigger it. Ball for the tie. Off the left side. Loose ball. Flagler has it. They foul him with a 2.5 to go.
Probably not the shot, J.B. Dixon. Damian Ball, I think he's settled. Go to the basket, Damian. Take a look right here. Good defense. He still had plenty of time to survey Flagler. Watch Flagler. He cuts him off. But there's 6 seconds to go, and I don't think that's a shot that he would probably take again in the same situation.
I'm expecting, as much as their cutters have been going to the basket all game, to see that, and we didn't see that on that play.
8.1 is a lifetime in the half court.
So this is a 1-and-1. It's not over yet. Big free throw here for Flagler with a 2.5 to go. This next one basically is for the game for Baylor.
Yes, TCU, no timeouts left. So even on a make ends it, a miss likely ends it too, minus a miracle.
Baylor is going to cut the possible TCU miracle down to size with just a 2.5 to go. Shot goes up, and it's a 72-68 Baylor win. The Bears have now won 9 of their last 10, and wow, what a game today.
TCU played their hearts out without Mike Miles. They're a really good team. And Baylor, we said it in early January when they lost 3 in a row, they will get better when they get healthy.
And Baylor's now 8-4 in conference play as TCU drops to 500, 6-6 in Big 12 play. What a game. Glad you could share it with us. For Fran Fraschilla and our tremendous crew, I'm Mark Neely. Thanks for sharing this one with us. Let's get you to Ames, Oklahoma State, Iowa State with Chucky Kemp and Jess Settles.